Hello, my name is Zahra Massicotte with the NROC project. I hope the conference went very well. Sorry, I couldn't be there in person. And for those of you who were trying to attend my event, we had some technical difficulties, so hence this recording. So hopefully you can take advantage of that. And please feel free to reach out to me. I'll have my email at the end of the presentation. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Well, first of all, I just want to take a moment and acknowledge the challenges of the last year and the great efforts and shifts you have all made in creating new ways to engage with your students and embrace technology in multiple forms. And while the NROC project offers digital tools, we're really here to support your efforts in making more meaningful connections with your students, whether that's in a blended learning environment, online, or in person. So who is the NROC project? So we are a nonprofit and mission-driven organization focused on improving college and career readiness in the areas of math and English. So we work not only with adult education and associations, but also with secondary and post-secondary partners. So we've been around for about 18 years, originally getting funding from the Gates, as well as the Hewlett Foundation for Open Educational Resources. And we're always committed to offering free and open resources, which we'll talk about some of those free resources, which you can take away from today's presentation. But now we maintain our sustainability through membership model. So as I've mentioned, we've made a commitment to building and solving problems that are most important to you and providing free and open resources such as EdReady and HippoCampus. So we'll talk today about some of our different courses and tools, and we'll mainly focus on those free resources like EdReady and HippoCampus, but we'll also dive into, as an institutional level, how you can customize these resources, how you can take advantage of some of the student data, particularly stuff that you need to track, such as instructional contact hours. But just something to keep in mind that everything we'll talk about today, there's lots of different ways to deliver our resources and our content. Just all depends on the experience that you want for your students. So our courses and tools are really designed to recognize every student's unique learning needs and preferences. So we use adaptive and personalized study resources and technology. And so students are able to kind of pick and choose what works best for them. And what's great, particularly for our adult education students, is we use real world examples. It's very culturally diverse content. And students are able to go at their own pace. So we'll go into a live demo, but be able to see how it's formatted for students to kind of go through it at their own level, take their time. We have closed captioning, we have different options in Spanish. So lots of different ways for students to take advantage and make the program as flexible as possible for students' particular learning style, and also for instructors to really be able to use diverse set of resources and customize it in a way that works for them. So today we're going to focus a lot on EdReady. And EdReady is our personalized learning tool that takes a student's knowledge inventory today. So what we want to get to know a student, where are their strengths and weaknesses, and how can we personalize and create a learning path that helps get them to their goal. So whether that goal is taking the GED, TABE exam, getting into college, whatever that may be, we want them to work towards that goal and start to increase and master these skills in the areas of math and English. So we want them to be ready for whatever that next step is in their education or career. So edready.org is a completely free and open resource for the individual student to use. And as institutional partners, you're able to customize our program. So instructors will have access to our content alignment, be able to select what resources and learning objectives are most relevant for their students, and then also be able to get that detailed data and reporting for students to be able to really target specific students and getting them the help that they need in the areas that they're struggling with most. So EdReady is a system that can be used in a variety of different use cases. So many of our members, for example, use EdReady to help their students with GED preparation, with the TABE. So different programs, depending on what your needs are, align with those particular math and English needs for those exams. And then we also have different career pathway support. So based on a student's career goal, we've aligned different math learning outcomes and the math needed for those particular careers. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And today, we're talking about a system that is delivered online, but we've seen it implemented in many different ways. So whether you have a blended learning environment, you want an enhancement to your traditional classroom or something as supplemental or for additional study, or even a full virtual program, we're here to support you. And there's lots of different creative ways we've seen our members take advantage of the resources. So we've worked with our adult education partners to help us create those alignments to the areas that we see the greatest need for adult education, adult learners. So you can see some of those examples here that we've already talked about, but this is all available on our adult education NROC website. And in addition to math resources, we also have English. So where our math covers whole numbers, basic arithmetic, and then leads up to algebra, and then some geometry and trigonometry. English starts at a little bit of a higher level. So it starts at the 9th grade level through college English and covers reading, writing, and grammar. But again, very customizable. We've seen our members be very creative. If they just want to take advantage of certain resources or certain areas, you can adapt and customize those levels. So I'd like to dive into EdReady so you can see what the program looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and just get out of my full screen here so that way we can show you EdReady. So just to point out, edready.org is that completely free and open resource where any student come in, they can click get started. They can either create a new user account so their data is saved, or they can enter as a guest. So I'll just show you, I'll enter as a guest, and you can see these are available today for the student to utilize on their own for preparation for these different areas. Again, whether it's studying, getting ready for the GED, common placement exam, any of these areas, free and open for the student, individual student to use. But I'm going to jump into a demo specifically that we've created for adult learners. So I'll go ahead and enter as a guest. And here are a couple of goals that we've created for demo purposes, and I'm going to go into the TABE. And here we've outlined, we have lots of different alignments based on the different level and the need for your students. So the first step, students take that diagnostic. So we want to get to know the student and see where they're starting from so we can create that personalized learning path and they can just focus on the areas where they need improvement and help attain their goals. So I'll go ahead and click Start Diagnostic. And what we have is this nice video before students enter that diagnostic. So the NROC project, we're really focused on improving student skills, and it's a low stakes environment. While we do have that initial diagnostic and assessments throughout the program, it's really for the benefit of the student so we can make it personalized. Students take plenty of high stakes exams. This is a low stake environment, really student centric learning. So here's just a quick video to show you how we try to put the student at a little bit of ease before they take this initial diagnostic.
Hi, I'm Ed Ready. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I call this an initial diagnostic. This may seem like a test, but don't sweat it. The idea is to see what you know and what you need to work on, so you can focus on the stuff that matters most. Answer the questions as best you can without any outside help. If you really don't know an answer, just skip it. Skipping is better than guessing, okay? When you're done with this diagnostic, I will show you how you did. Then I will build you your very own study path with videos and other materials that you can use to improve your understanding of the topics where you may need help. You will be able to learn and test at your own pace. Ready? Let's get started.
So I'll go ahead and get started and go into a diagnostic. So here a student will calculate and choose their answer. And as the video mentioned, I have the option to pass. If I'm not feeling confident, we really, again, want to gain a true knowledge of what the student knows, or I can hold. Maybe I want to work a few questions to get comfortable with the testing format and hold the question till later on. So there's lots of different question formats, as you can see here. And here, I'm obviously going through the content quickly and may not have gotten a lot correct. So the program identifies that, wants me to slow down, and you can customize some of these messaging to make a student more comfortable as they go through the diagnostic. So you can make the diagnostic as long or short as you'd like. This is a fairly short diagnostic for demo purposes. I've now completed my initial diagnostic and I got an initial score of 31. So that's great. It shows I know about 31% of the content out of 100. And we don't score below a 25, giving the students a benefit of the doubt that they do come in knowing some knowledge. But here I get a nice summary of how I did and where I should focus. So red, I do see a lot of red. Obviously, I went through that quickly and got a lot wrong. But red means I mastered less than 50% of the content. Yellow, but somewhere between 50 and 100. And then this green, I've mastered that particular topic. And then the blank, I have not been tested in that area yet, but I can certainly still study those resources. So I'll go ahead and click view my study path. And so here's where I'm starting from. And my goal is working up to a 90. So as an institution, you can set what you want that target score to be. So what percentage of content would you want students to feel confident in knowing before they move on? So, and students, as I mentioned, it's self-paced. They can go through and click on these different areas. These are where they need to study in order to hit their goal. Maybe a student feels confident in one of these units. I want to try to test out of that. So students have the opportunity to test out of the unit one time, then it is grayed out and they have to go to the learn resources. So we really want students to be focused on learning and improving their skills and not just continuing to test. So if I go back to my whole numbers and wanted to start here, I want to go to my learn resources and begin studying to try and improve my score and master out of particular resources. So I'm going to go ahead and study the NROC resource. And here, each one of these topic homepage is set up the same. So students get familiar with the look and feel of the format. I can see all my learning objectives that will be covered, and then all my resources available for this particular topic. So generally, there's some warm-up exercises that are adaptive and get me comfortable with the objectives to be covered. Then I have a lesson presentation. These are great short nuggets of information, and I'm just going to play a short clip so you can see.
Whether you're adding a mileage log for your employer or figuring out how much paint you'll need to paint your living room, or totaling your sitter's weekly pay. Addition is something you use every day. It's a skill that all other arithmetic skills build on. Mastering addition is important because it can help you make bank deposits, figure out how much of something you'll need for a project, and understand if bills are correct.
So I'll just pause the video. As you can see, we incorporate real-world examples that students can hopefully identify with. And then on the right here, I have the option of closed caption in English as well as in Spanish. And these, again, short, generally around 4 to 7 minutes for these presentations. I'm gonna go back to my topic home. Now I can view worked examples. So we commission these directly from the Khan Academy for the NROC project. And if you're a math person, you'll recognize the voice. I'll just play a little bit of this.
So we need to figure out what 46 plus 43 is. So let me write it down again, and I'll write it like this: 46 plus 43. What we do here is we just first look at the ones place.
And these are also have closed caption available as well. And then we have also incorporated topic text. So this is a fully integrated e-text available in English as well as in Spanish, and just another way to present the material. Again, for different learning styles, we have call out vocab words, different types of examples, and different types of questions for the students to be able to work through. So students get to see different types of formatting based on their learning needs. So student might not go through all of these. They might start to understand which ones work for their understanding of the topic. And then we have practice, which is adaptive. So if I go ahead and enter my answer, it's going to give me a little bit of feedback. Remember to add each place value separately, and then I get a chance to try again. So if I put in another answer, it's incorrect. I get to view my solution, and it'll pop up in a separate page that the student can actually print out and review, and it'll go through step-by-step methods of solving the problem. And then I also have the review, so that's taking away the help and getting them ready to practice for the topic assessment. So I'll go back to my study options, back to my study path. So here, now that I've gone through these learned resources, I might try to test out of this particular topic. So I'm just going to go through quickly so you can see. So obviously I did not master all the topics in this particular area. So here I can see it grayed out the test because I didn't pass, and it's making me go back to the learned resources. So before the test is going to open back up, I do need to go back and study. Again, our way of making sure students aren't trying to just test out and they're actually going and learning the resource. But what's nice is I did actually master one of these topic areas, and my score improved. So students get that satisfaction as they start to work through. They see their number start to move up on this line. They get motivated, and they, try to keep going to increase their score. So it's a very self-motivating program. Again, very student focused on getting them to increase their skills. And I can see on the right where I've mastered and the units that I've started and can continue to study. So this is a very brief overview of our EdReady program. Again, we do have it available in English, reading, writing, and grammar. This was just a very quick math overview, but the format in the English version is very similar. So I'm going to pop back to my PowerPoint presentation. So just to give a quick recap of how EdReady is set up, first, you're going to pick that goal that you want students to be ready for. So how is it that you want students to identify with this digital tool? Obviously, we're on overload with digital programs, so making sure students know the purpose of using this particular program, whether it's, studying for their GED or another college placement preparation. That's how they identify. Then they go through, we identify their areas unique to that student that they can study to obtain their goal and increase their knowledge in these particular areas. They go through all those different learn resources that we went through, and then hopefully in the end, they achieve mastery and readiness in that area. And all the while, instructors and directors can go through and see students' progress. So they can look at cohorts of students as well as individual students. So I just want to go through a couple of those different reports that are available. So this report here is just a quick overview and a summary of a student's progress in a particular study path. So you can just see here, initial median score of the group was 52, and it's currently at a 64. I can see the average time this group spent. So just a general overview of the class. But then I can dive deeper into the student data and see individual students. So this report shows different row for each student and details the total time in EdReady, the time they spent studying and those learn resources, and their EdReady score details. So what their initial score was, and you can see on this line what their current score is. So this is helpful to see how long they're engaged with various resources. And you can dive a little bit deeper. If you click on that particular students, you'll actually be able to see when they last log in, their last topic, particular learning objects, and what areas that they in questions they weren't doing so well on, so you can give that targeted help to those particular students. So then this is another report that we recently developed, particularly for our adult education partners for instructional contact hours. So we know that you have to report a lot of different data federally and on the state level tied to your funding. So we've created this report so you can see everything a student is doing when they're in and outside of the classroom. You can see here a particular date and time frame, and then it'll show you different areas. And there's lots of ways to parse and look at the data, but you can see their total session time, how much time they spent studying, different units and topic testing that they've done. So lots of different areas so that you can see that specific data that you need to gather for those students. So I want to go through a couple different case studies just to give you an idea of how other programs across the country are utilizing EdReady and NROC resource. And I have a great video here from Latanya from Fairfield Adult Education School. It's always nice to showcase some student examples. So I'll just play Latanya's experience, which I'm sure a lot of folks can identify with.
Okay. Go. Hi, my name is Latanya Magruder, and I'm a student at the Fairfield Sassoon Adult School here in Fairfield, California. I am actually not your typical high school student. I'm a mom and I'm a grandma. But I never finished high school. And the biggest reason for that is that I was totally intimidated by math. But here at Fairfield Adult School, I have had the opportunity to use the EdReady program, and it has been a tremendous help in my life. For somebody that was intimidated by math, the EdReady program is great. It's a program that you can use independently and privately at home and at school. It tests you on the skills that you already know, and it encourages you based on the results of the tests that you take with the skills that you already know, and it sets up an independent program for you to practice in the areas that you are weak in, areas that maybe are unfamiliar to you. After having done that and participating in the program, I have exceeded my own expectations and overcome fears in algebra, which I've never made it to algebra. I've always been in general mathematics. And so now that I have completed an algebra class and actually earned my credits, I can focus on other areas at school and eventually graduate sooner than I actually anticipated because I was afraid of math. So thank you, EdReady. I appreciate the program and keep it available to students like myself and others who could definitely benefit from it. Thanks.
Lovely story from LaTanya. I'm sure many folks resonate with that fear of math in kind of intimidating them from moving on. So we're happy to have her as part of our program. So I just want to touch on a couple other examples. So in the state of Montana, they are using NROC resources for lots of different college readiness initiatives on secondary, post-secondary, and then adult education program called Lifelong is a state organization. And the students there range in ability level from third grade to college level. And there's lots of different pathways, GED, college bound, different certificate programs they've been utilizing since 2015. And really encouraging results. Students were starting to perform much better when they began retesting their skills, their NRS levels, as well as their GED assessments. So we can see here, the end of the first couple of years, there was a 62% increase of students in at least one educational function level. So really amazing work here. And just a quote from our buddy here, Renee, talking a little bit about ESL learners. So while our program wasn't designed for ESL learners, we do have lots of tools and resources built in to assist. So we do find that they do well in this environment. Students, as I mentioned, can go at their own pace. There's those closed captioning in the videos. In our English, we have voiceover for some of the reading comprehension so students can follow along as they listen. So really amazing that we've seen success in these areas. Another example is Renton Technical College. They're using EdReady for workforce training program. So GED and other adult ed opportunities as students prepare for different professions like health, welding, pipes, trades. They've found different ways to use and utilize the program across these different pathways. And actually one of their faculty members helped us develop our EdReady pathway, career pathways that we have, and I'll show you some of those shortly. And just a couple of quotes from students at Renton Technical. They really embraced the videos, and the worked examples were some of their favorite and most popular ways of learning. And being able to do it at their own pace was really beneficial for these learners. And then another example I'll just point out, this is an old example, but definitely still relevant. I know with the pandemic and a lot of folks forced to be doing learning virtual, students did get to get some of those skills that they might not have had in terms of utilizing computers and digital resources in new ways. So not only are students, preparing for their trade, but through using an online program, we've really found that students' confidence level using computers and digital programs has increased. So, folks even in the hands-on trade will still need to apply to jobs online. So just having that additional confidence after doing some digital programs is really nice to see. And here are some of the pathways and the subject areas that we've built out. So within each of these different areas, we have built out 152 different alignments to careers, certification programs, and degree programs where we've aligned the math needed for those particular careers. So just to note, it's not contextualized. We're not showing videos of lab technicians, but it is the core foundational skills that students will need to be successful in those careers. And again, we did work with our adult education partners to create these alignments, but these are out of the box solutions, completely ready to go to use. So the next thing I wanted to review, a free and open resource, HippoCampus. So HippoCampus is a curated repository of over 7,000 media resources not only from the NROC project, but also many of our other partners in lots of different subject areas. So here is the link. So hippocampus.org is our main website, but we have this link that you see on my screen here, particularly for adult education. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. So you can see here, HippoCampus, completely, again, free for educators. So while EdReady.org is a bit more student focused, the free version at least, this is a little bit more educator focused. So you can go in here and use some of these media tools and resources to maybe enhance your classroom experience. So lots of different videos all built in. So just by clicking on the topic subject areas, you can see all the different media resources we have available. So pulled from the NROC project, as well as partner collections, as you can see here. So animations, videos, text lessons, all of those are available here. Now, if you sign in, any teacher free to sign up and utilize. So if I log into the program, since I've already created an account, I have access to create playlists. So playlists are really cool because you can create a list of you can do the research ahead of time. There's lots of different ways to filter through the content and pull out those media resources you think are most relevant for your class, your students, and create a playlist. And so here's one I've already created. I can pop that open in another screen and share this particular link with students so that they can see all of the resources I've recommended for this topic area. And what's great is I can even pull in YouTube videos, Google Slides. So it's not just what's in the program, but I can make a comprehensive list of those supplemental resources. Let me just into ready. So just by clicking the settings, I can create a description and I can add those external URLs here. So there is a video at the bottom of the screen that shows you how to make those playlists. Pretty straightforward, just a few minute video that will show you how to get those playlists up and running. So that's a very brief overview of HippoCampus, particularly for adult education. So I'll bump back to my presentation to close things out here. So here is, if you can do this virtually, but it's also going to be at the bottom of the page at HippoCampus, but we do have playlists that have been already created by our adult education partners. Here is one of them with content aligned to the TABE as well as the GED. So at the NROC project, we always say it's not a product you buy, but a movement you join. It's a partnership. We're a community. We collaborate on lots of things. Our members really work together to help each other on new initiatives and support one another. We offer free monthly webinars. So please check out nroc.org/news for our webinars. We have one coming up on Thursday, October 7th. Our partners, Maricopa College, Dr. Rosalind Knight, will be presenting on her research and dissertation on college placement and increasing college success among non-traditional students of color. So please, if you're available, sign up for that webinar and check it out, completely free. And we're available all the time for support and questions as you have them. And just to close it out, as a member to the NROC project, you have unlimited use of all of our resources and tools in whether it's delivery in your learning management system, whether it's a fully self-paced digital program using EdReady or HippoCampus, completely open access to all of our resources with member and unlimited student use as well. And I'll just play a quick minute of LaTanya's update.
Hi, NROC family. It's me, LaTanya Magruder. Well, it's been about a year since I was last there in Monterey, sharing my story and aspirations to graduate high school. And guess what? I did. A lot has happened in the last year since you last saw me, actually. When I returned from the trip shortly thereafter, I found out that I did, in fact, pass with flying colors my high school exit exam, both the math and the English portions. Soon after that, I applied for a assistant grad scholarship, and I received that. I was a winner of my school for that. Gosh, so much. I received Student of the Month from the Fairfield Sassoon School District and an award for outstanding achievement, which I felt very honored to do. I gave the high school graduation speech, which was also a big portion of that speech was published in our local newspaper, the Daily Republic.
So I'll pause it there, but really great to hear an update on how well LaTanya is doing and what an impact the adult education program has made for her and her life and her family. So really cool to see. So thank you so much for your time. Again, sorry I couldn't be there in person, and sorry we had technical difficulties for the virtual live presentation, but please check out our resources at nrock.org and feel free to email me if you're interested in talking more about how we might be able to partner or support your program. Please email me, Zahra Massicotte, zmassicotte@nrock.org. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Take care.